Welcome back to episode 3 of the MLOps series. In episode 2, we built our first broken ML model. It worked beautifully for training like data and failed instantly on real world messages. Today, we are taking that same broken model and putting it behind an API using FastAPI and Docker. Because that's exactly how real companies deploy models. In a notebook, everything works, but once you expose it as an endpoint, that's when the chaos begins. Let's deploy our first dataset. Before jumping into the demo, I would like to keep it very simple. In episode 2, we trained the model. In episode 3, that is today's episode, we are going to deploy the model, also break it and fix it in future episodes. This is exactly how real world MLOps journey start. Now let's jump into the demo. So in my Visual Studio Code, I have MLOps episode 3 folder. I'm trying to follow the same structure. In MLOps episode 2, we did create the virtual environment, artifacts, data folder, ML runs, model. And in this episode, we are going to create this Docker file, requirements.txt file. And in model folder, we have a new file, API_v1.py. So what exactly this file is doing? Very simple. FastAPI creates an HTTP endpoint. We are trying to load the model from episode 2 which we generated, and we take input text vectorize it, and also return a prediction. No pipelines, no validation, no monitoring, just raw inference. And that's the point. This is exactly how things break. Followed by, we have a requirements.txt file wherein we are trying to install all these packages. And then now we are going to run this. I'm in my episode 3 folder. So I'm going to run this real quick. So I'm using ubicon model.api_v1 app reload. Press enter. And I can open in the browser. So I'm going to real quick open this in the browser. So for that, I would say HTTP 127.80.80. I'm going to copy this real quick URL location, and I will try to paste it here /docs. Press enter. We are in the FastAPI browser. Now we are going to predict some messages. So I'm going to say try it out. And in here, I'm going to write something. For example, network not working properly. Okay. Then let's try to execute this. If you see the response, it says prediction network looks good. Real world fails hard. So let's try to do some real world testing. For example, let's try with this option. Let's try with this option. For example, balance cut, but recharge not working, bro. Execute. So it says billing. You see this? The API instantly, you see this? The API responds instantly, but the prediction is wrong. The server is healthy, CPU is normal, memory normal, everything looks perfect, except the model is silently producing wrong answers. This is the most dangerous type of failure in AI system. Now let's try to Dockerize this broken model. I have a Docker file. Here In this Docker file, I'm using the light image. Working directory is like application directory. Then following the requirement.txt file. Followed by we are trying to install requirements.txt packages. Then we are trying to copy the model, copy artifacts. Finally, we are trying to start the application. No GPU, no complex dependencies, just a simple, realistic ML deployment. Now, we are going to build this Docker image. I'm going to stop this real quick. Now we are going to build this image using Docker. For that, I'm going to say docker build -t broken ML API v1 space dot, press enter. As soon as we build, we can even start this. For that, I'm going to use docker run command real quick. We did successfully build the Docker image. Now we are going to run this real quick. Press enter. And now we have a fully containerized ML model and it's still broken. Now let's jump back to the browser and try to open this. We are using Docker container to access the fast API, but it's still broken. Why this failure is important? This is the exact reason MLOps exist. Because our container did not crash. API also did not crash. CPU didn't spike. Memory didn't spike. Server logs look normal, but the model is silently wrong. If you don't monitor inputs, outputs, drift, you will never know. What are we going to do in episode 4? We start building MLOps pipeline, proper model packaging, saving both model and vectorizer correctly, monitoring, CI/CD. This is when things get real. If you are loving this real world breakdown, hit like, comment, fix it, and subscribe so you don't miss episode 4. We deployed a broken model today. Next episode, we are going to fix it. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.